You pretty much answered my next question, but I was going to point you to the running back position. Travis Homer, that was the first game against Georgia Tech that he had to carry the mail start to finish, that he knew he was going to be the guy start to finish. Trayon Gray also getting some opportunities there. So you're pretty happy with the backfield situation based on what you saw.
I would be even happier if Mark Walton wouldn't have got, we was using both of those backs. You know, we have Trayon Gray behind Travis Homer, and he isn't getting any carries. So you can't. You have 6 games left, 7 games left for the rest of the season. Can Travis Homer run like that for 7 games, and then you're looking at a bowl game? You know, and hopefully if you can crack the playoffs, you know what I'm saying, you're looking at 2 bowl games if you win one. You know what I'm saying? So we have to get Trayon Gray or somebody else take some carries off of him, or off Travis Homer is going to be a problem. You can't continue to pound one guy, or it's going to be a problem.
We've got Alonzo1219 on the line talking Miami football with the Canes hosting Syracuse coming up on Saturday, coming off that big win against Georgia Tech, 25-24. You can catch Alonzo on his YouTube channel. Just look up Alonzo1219, the U family. So we've enjoyed talking to Alonzo the last few weeks with the Canes undefeated at this point, taking on a surprising Syracuse squad at 4-3, of course, coming off the huge upset against Clemson. So here's a thought I'd like to get your take on here. Got Eric Dungy coming off a nice game against Clemson, 12 touchdowns, 4 picks, hitting on 64% of his passes. We know what Dino Babers likes to do on offense. He knows that he's been able to recruit a decent quarterback and a couple receivers that play well in space. He doesn't have the personnel along the offensive line to beat down another team, so he gets the ball out of the quarterback's hand quickly, tries to negate the defensive line and what usually is a disadvantage for him. And we've got a Miami team that's racked up 17 sacks in 5 games. They're one of the best defensive fronts and defensive front sevens in college football. Clemson sacked Syracuse 7 times last week, so that seems to be where Miami may have a huge advantage in this game.
Yeah, what they're going to have to do is play a lot of bumper. We have to play a lot of man bump coverage because, like you said, they like to get rid of the ball fast. And just play Manny Diaz defense. And we kind of short at corner, a little young and everything, but I trust in Manny. You know what I'm saying? When we first hired him, I wasn't happy with the hire, but he has proven me 1,000% wrong. Great defensive mind. And I mean, like I say, I can't continue to hopefully pray that our defense bail us out of games, but the way our offense playing, I have to trust in Manny. And that defense, our defense is ferocious. You know, they gave up some 3rd downs early in the year, give up a couple drives and stuff like that. But as the field gets shorter, they get better. You know, so if you get to the red zone, it's going to be tough for you to score on them because they know how to score a lot of points on us this year. Nobody really has. So our defense will be able to contain their offense. But their defense is good. So,
yeah, so the Miami defense didn't face a whole lot of stellar offenses most of the season last year. Of course, Florida State earlier in the season with DeAndre Francois at the controls, but most of the Coastal Division teams outside of Virginia Tech, who, when they had Gerard Evans in play and some of the NFL receivers that have moved on, Cam Phillips, Isaiah Ford, Bucky Hodges, etc., they were really good. What really showed the grit and the athleticism and the scheme of Manny Diaz and the athletes on that side of the ball was against West Virginia in the bowl game, because we know the Mountaineers can throw it around and they love to spread people out, and they scored on just about everybody they played, and they could do next to nothing, especially in the second half of that game. So looking at Miami defensive football, Alonzo, this unit's as good as going back to when? When's the last time we had that good of a Miami defense on the field?
Well, this year is not as good as last year.
Okay.
Because we lost a few players.
Basically,
Elder was a monster
those
for
guys.
He was our
secondary
monster for us. But actually, this defense is not it. Last year's defense, the last time I seen defense that good from Miami probably was 2004. Compared to the 2000, it's not nowhere near as good as those defenses, but it's definitely better than the defense we had over the past 10, 11, 12 years. You know, and I'm not going to say the players are better. We had 5 years or 4.5 years under Mark D'Onofrio. 3, 4 better on defense. where you had the athletes to play what Manny Diaz is playing, but you chose to play Penn State defense from 1970. You know, the 3-4 Bell type defense, and it just didn't work. You know, whole read and react defense. And that's what South Florida kids do not play. If you ever watch South Florida high school football, they're bump and run, man, blitz, get at the quarterback. If you sit back in South Florida, if you have a zone defense in South Florida, defense or a Bell defense, you're going to get destroyed because there's too many athletes. Their tight ends run 4.5s.
You know,
it do that.
It brings to mind, Alonzo, a comment I heard Matt Canada, the LSU offensive coordinator, say in August before the Tigers hit the field this year. And I don't necessarily know if his theory played out or he was able to execute it the way he spoke it, but it sounded good. And this is it. He did wonders with that Pitt offense, considering some of their limitations. They were a scoring machine most of last season against the likes of Clemson and Penn State. He goes to LSU, and he was asked at one point, I heard him asked, are you going to implement a lot of what you did? You know, what is this LSU offense going to look like? And he said, I've got to be flexible to the personnel. I know what I would like to do. I've got some ideas, but I want to see the personnel on the field. I want to see game tape from last year to see who does what well, and it's up to me to mold my offense to that personnel.
You said a great point. I was talking with a friend of mine the other day. He was saying, you know, Coach Rick wants to get his players in there so he can run his system. And I made a statement that there shouldn't be a system. Your system goes to your personnel. You know, if you look at probably the greatest head coach of all time, and I'm a Dolphins fan, but the greatest head coach of all time in my lifetime, to me, greatest ever is Bill Belichick when it comes to football, because you don't know what system he's running, let alone from year to year, from game to game. He'll run a 2 tight end, he'll run a 3 tight end set. Whatever he go by his personnel. You can't that's something that you can't do. Greg Popovich is probably the greatest NBA coach. He went from a 2 center system with posting up, you know, to Kawhi Leonard becoming almost MVP on the perimeter, Tony Parker. You have to go by your personnel. If you're just going by one system, then you're not gonna win games. Urban Meyer switched his personnel from when he won his first national championship with Chris Leak to his second national championship with Tim Tebow. I hate it when people say Tim Tebow won 2. Tim Tebow won 1.
I correct people on that all the time, Alonzo. I correct people all the time. He was a gimmick quarterback. He came in and threw some wildcat passes and ran the ball a couple times. But that was Chris Leak's team.
It was Chris Leak won MVP in the national championship game through 400 yards. I have to remind people too. But you have to be able to adapt to your players. You can't just put one only side of the ball really can do that is defense. Aggressive. You can recruit players to stay aggressive. But offensively, schemes, if you think about defense, schemes haven't changed in really over the last 30 years. Run a 3-3-5, a 3-4-4-3. You know, they attack or bail defense or zones. Offenses have changed. They have run so many different type of systems that you have to continually adapt to that. One system is not gonna work for you in today's football.
All right, we've got Alonzo Oliver on the line talking some Miami football. He loves the Canes, he loves college football, and he knows both. There's no question about that. Alonzo, we appreciate you jumping on the line with another big game for Miami. It suddenly became a little bit bigger. We'll see if this Syracuse edition goes back to what it's supposed to be, like a 3-9 or 4-8 team, or if they're able to build off this Clemson win and not necessarily get a win at Miami, but we'll see if they are building something there with the orange and they're able to give the Canes something to think about this Saturday. It should be interesting. We appreciate the time, Alonzo.
I definitely appreciate it, Mark. I'll be doing a video after the game, and if you want to talk to me, I'll try to make myself available. But hopefully, we'll be talking under better circumstances. And I don't want to be talking off almost a heart attack win. I want at least a 7-point, little cushion type of victory this week, and we'll see what happens.
We'll see if Mark Richt and his play calling can help you out and give you a little bit more comfort, a little less stress this Saturday. All right, Alonzo.
Yes, sir.
You have a good one.
Thanks, Mark. You too, man.